Hello and welcome to Borrow My Belief podcast, a place that's created to inspire you to live from your heart. And today I've got my friend Jeanine on this podcast. I'm in the UK, Jeanine's in Canada.
Alberta, Canada.
We're a bit excited. I'm sure that's going to come through. Jeanine and I met, oh, maybe 4 years ago in Mexico, and we're going to have a chat. We're just going to keep this loose, have a chat, and talk about our experiences where we've kind of jumped off cliffs and tried things out, and it's served us. So, welcome, Jeanine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's really good to have you here. I'm so excited to see you. I'm sure
Yes,
that's going to come across in this chat.
yeah,
And it's five past 5 p.m. here. It's 10 a.m. in the morning for you, isn't it?
yeah, not long up starting my day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm really looking forward to this because I know in this chat I'm going to learn some things that have been happening with you that I didn't know. Because whenever we connect, we have great connection, but we've not spoken in a while.
yeah. Or seen you in a
So
while too.
I know, I can't wait to come across Canada and give you a hug.
Yes,
And I've
yes.
never been. So my first thing is, I think I'm just going to describe how we met, when we met, and then we'll take the conversation from there. So I was in Mexico traveling, and I'd booked an Airbnb and I'd gone to Playa del Carmen last minute because my computer had broken. And I'd just booked this Airbnb because I knew it was near somewhere that fixed Apple. And I went up to the rooftop, and I'd been thinking about doing something called ayahuasca, which we can explain what the audience is. And I went up to the rooftop and I was just contemplating things. And I got to the top of the rooftop and I met this really amazing, bubbly person who was Jeanine. Hey!
Me.
And very quickly, you invited me to come to an event of yours, and then it went from there. So I met you. To me, that was totally synchronistic. And let's hear from your side what went from there.
Yeah, so I was at this specific Airbnb preparing myself to do ayahuasca that
Yeah.
weekend, first time ever. So yeah, I was just journaling on the rooftop, and I look over and there's a woman working on her laptop, and yeah, we just couldn't help but connect and chat. And she happened to be thinking about doing it herself, so I was kind of just giving her the reasons why I was there to do it, and yeah, it just kind of went from there. And I am a sound therapist, sound healer, so I invited her to one of my sound baths, and yeah, it just kind of went from there. There's lots more to it. I'm sure we'll get into
Yeah, I mean,
permit.
we hit it off. We hit it off straight away, didn't we,
Yeah,
that day?
yeah,
And I found it really interesting because the first time I'd ever heard of this thing, ayahuasca, was a couple of years before. And then I'd gone through this, oh, I think I'm going to do that thing one day, and we'll explain more what it is in a bit. And that particular day, the journaling you were doing and the things you were doing was actually preparing for that. It was the questions that a shaman had given you, wasn't it?
yes, yeah. So get very deep and intentional for the medicine to work. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I'm a really sensitive person, and I knew that we will explain what ayahuasca is in a bit, but I knew that I needed to do this in a really professional way with somebody that really cared. And it was just so synchronistic that I met you, and you were, I think it was about 3 days later or something, or a week later, that you were going to be doing it. And it was one on one with a shaman, and it was the kind of environment that I was looking for. It's really good.
yeah.
Who's going to explain what ayahuasca is? I'm going to let you explain what ayahuasca is.
Oh, I'm not the best, but I'll try. So ayahuasca, I believe the roots come from Peru. It comes from the bark of a tree, and the active ingredient in the ayahuasca is called DMT. And so DMT, you produce it twice in your life, when you're born and when you die. And it gives you very powerful visions. You're out of body. It's quite powerful experience. So when you're sitting with ayahuasca, you're in a traditional setting. There's music playing. You have a shaman who's administering the medicine, and you wait in meditation until it starts to work. And everybody's experience is completely different. Um, my experience, I remember, um, like I was sitting down as my younger self, and I had a photo album, and I was going through every single traumatic experience of my life and making peace with it. I have full body chills right now. Um,
Me too.
yeah, it was just very beautiful, very personal. But yeah, everybody has a completely different experience.
Yeah. And my experience was completely different to yours as well. I think you explained that better than I could have ever explained it. What I would say is it's a plant and it has an effect on you. And there are many avenues to try this out if anyone was going to try it out. And what I witnessed in Mexico was there were ayahuasca parties and things like that. And to be careful, because my experience was really, really intense. And for 6 weeks afterwards, it took me about 6 weeks to stabilize myself after my experience. And funny enough, even last night, I was integrating something from that experience, which was in April 2021 for me, even last night. So, how could we explain it? It brings things up that perhaps you're not aware of that are coming to be seen so you
Yeah,
can deal with it from the unconscious. And my childhood was pretty epic, really. So, what came up for me was a very clear understanding of the experience that my mum had had with schizophrenia. It helped me understand my mum. That's what I
yeah,
got from it. Yeah,
full of love and compassion.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and it goes really to like the depths of your subconscious, like the
yeah,
roots. Yeah.
yeah.
But
And
oh sorry.
you've done it more than once, haven't you?
Yes, I the first time I ever did it was when I met you in Mexico. And then before moving back to Canada, I went on a trip to Colombia. I went to the jungle and sat with it for a week there. And you can only imagine how intense that was. Every night was a deeper layer, deeper layer. So yeah, a very different experience as well. You're in the jungle. There's no electricity. There's no running water. Like you're out there in the elements. But also very beautiful too. Just the greenery, the stars. There's
Mm.
nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
I remember I've got chills as you're speaking again. I mean, just to say to anybody that's listening to this, I call that truth bumps. If we're hitting on something that's important to talk about in conversations, like full body chills. We get it a lot, don't we, when we're speaking
We
to each
we
other?
do.
I remember you messaging me because I haven't seen you in person since you went for that week. And I remember you messaging me after that week and saying something like, my whole life's changed. Everything's changed forever. That was a really profound week for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I intentionally did it before I moved back home. So it's
Yeah.
just like build up some resiliency. Yeah,
When I
coming
when
back
I
to the Western world.
when I first met you, I think you were just about getting residency in Mexico, and I was thinking about becoming a resident in Mexico, and we both went down that route of do we want to live here? And we both really embraced that community, didn't we? And you were
We
doing
did.
baths, which I came to that first one on the beach. We even talked about doing something together in collaboration, which I shied away from. We would meet on the beach for sunrise with my daughter and do cacao. I mean, you did a lot. You did really well. And then we got to a place, the community was great, wasn't it? It was really spiritual, go to ecstatic dance. It was an incredible experience. Really was.
I just like I welt up like even thinking about the ecstatic dance before I moved to Mexico. That was something that I would never even dream of doing. Like to just be so expressive and to move your body and to not care.
Mm,
And especially since meeting you, like I found that you really loosened up that part of me as well. And I think about the days on the beaches where we went with even a new and just dance all
yeah,
morning. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They were amazing times. And then for us, well, first of all, ecstatic dance. Somebody listening to this might know what not know what ecstatic dance
Yeah.
was. I I'd lived in the corporate world, and my daughter introduced me to ecstatic dance in Bali. For me, ecstatic dance, everybody, the only way I could describe it is you dance as if you're in the bedroom on your own,
Yeah.
and it's a great atmosphere. The DJs are always phenomenal, and fortunately, I get to go to ecstatic dance where I'm living now in Glastonbury.
Oh, nice.
And for me, it's pure expression. It's a different form of meditation.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just moving the energy and getting it out. And there's so much to it. I love it so much.
You can do whatever you want, turn up however you want to look. You
Yeah.
can lie on the floor for the
Yeah.
whole time you're there if you want,
Yeah.
moving silly ways. Something beautiful about it.
I was actually just doing it in my living room the night before last. So I have two Great Danes. And so I guess like I had headphones on, so I didn't hear anything outside. And then my dog just like tackled me onto the floor.
Oh,
It was so funny.
and ecstatic danced with you. That is
And
brilliant.
he ecstatic danced with me, yes.
I, I've grown an affinity with dogs actually since I've seen you and lived with some dogs as well. I I'm trying to think. We both came from the corporate world, and we'll talk about what happened after Mexico for both of us. We both came from the corporate world. We both took great leaps of faith, both of us, didn't we, during those times when COVID was on? And we both ended up in Mexico, which was a stark difference to what our reality had been before. And I personally found it really nourishing. We would go to a cacao cafe. We were living a completely different kind of life. And I'm trying to think, what did I get out of that? What I got out of that was opening up my lens of perception. And I met you, Canadian, I met Americans, I met people from different backgrounds who had completely different views to me, people who'd healed themselves from fatal diseases. I was exposed to that during that time. What did you get out of that experience? What did it bring you?
Peace. Um, before I might get emotional, before moving to Mexico, like I don't know, maybe I should start living in Mexico. When I was
Mm,
living in Mexico and just how different the lifestyle is compared to here, it's slow, it's relaxed, mañana, like it's
yeah,
here it's just go, 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 chase, 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 grab for the external, grab for the external, grab for the external. And so what it really taught me is like you don't reach for things outside. Like everything you have is within
yeah,
you.
that's beautiful.
Um, and I was so caught up in that world and had the cars and had the greatest snowboard setup because I like to snowboard and like the nicest clothes. And when you go to Mexico and you realize like you don't need those things down there and less is more, so much more. And then, yeah, moving back to here, it was a really big culture shift. So I kind of went through another little bit of a dark night when I first moved home. But now it's just what I've taken from me was that peace that I found there. And I've learned how to integrate it into my life now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
somebody listening might think, I hear everything you're saying, as in internal is where it's at for me now. And the place that I've come to is it's okay to have all those things I had before, and I don't have all the things I had before. And
Mhm.
before I even went on this journey, we're talking 7, 8 years ago for me, and where fulfillment comes from, I've understood now is from the inside. And I used to have 4 wardrobes of clothes. I mean, I love clothes. I still love clothes. And I'd go and buy the clothes, and that'd satisfy me a little bit. And then I'd need new clothes, and that'd satisfy me for a little bit. And now I'm so fulfilled inside, and I still love clothes and I still love different things. And I don't need that to feel this way.
How nice is that?
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh
I
man,
wish
it's
I
the
could pass
best.
that on to everybody, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Like just I'm pretty sure you did the exact same thing I did. You sold everything and moved down to Mexico. Like I didn't
Yeah.
even have a pair of pants when I moved back home. Like I had nothing, nothing.
Jeanine, do you know something really amazing? I'm staying in a Airbnb at the moment, and the lady that owns it, Laura, she's going to come on my podcast as well. We're doing some business things together. You know the drum that you gave Anu,
Yes.
hanging in the living room here.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No freaking way.
Yeah, so maybe you're gonna
Ah,
get that back one day.
oh my God. That's super special.
I have your drum from
That's my
Mexico.
that's my first job.
Yeah, it's with me. I've got cheese again. Oh my gosh, here we go
Wow.
again.
Oh my goodness,
And
that's amazing.
I was
Huh.
wondering what we could pay forward to the viewers listening, as they might be thinking, I only stayed 6 months. I think you stayed a year.
A
And
year,
they
yeah.
might be thinking, well, why didn't they stay? What changed for them? And there are people that we socialized with at that time that are still there, and they're
Yeah.
still living their life there.
Yeah.
I know the journey that I went on, and it was perfect, and why I'm not there anymore. I'd love to hear what happened with you, because you were my inspiration to come back to the UK, actually. You triggered my trigger point. I was always thinking about it, but you going back to Canada triggered me. It's okay to go back to the UK.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt honestly being there alone kind of got to me a little bit. I was there for 6 months by myself. So I was starting to miss home. Especially my grandmother. She's 87. She's amazing. She's healthy as a horse. But yeah, just the longer I was there, the more I missed home. Yeah, I just missed
I
home.
remember, I
Yeah.
remember when you were coming back, I just knew deep inside I'd learned how to live from my intuition. I think I'd always lived from my intuition all my life. And I never really trusted myself till very recently. Funnily enough, I'd always think that everybody else knew better than me until recently. But I was living from my intuition, and I didn't understand why. Everyone was getting bikes because you would cycle in Mexico everywhere. And
Yeah.
people were talking about getting residency. I just didn't feel to get residency. And something, when you said I'm going back to Canada, something in me when I've been thinking I need to go back to the UK, and it just clicked. I need to.
Yeah, it's like this, like, it's hard to explain, but it's just this knowing. And I
Yeah.
did end up getting my 4-year residency card.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I still have it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I got what I needed there, and I needed to take what I learned and bring it back here.
Great. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting the journey I've been on since I went back into the working world, and I stayed in the working world for 18 months. And that was an interesting experience, having been exposed to that. And then I'm out of the working world again. And as I look back, every part of it's been perfect. And it's taught me that the pendulum can swing as well, from this side to that side. And finally, I'm resting in the middle. That if I'm too far exposed over here without any nourishment to my soul, that's unhealthy. And if I'm too
Yeah.
far overexposed to here, that's really, really spiritual and all love and light, that's unhealthy. And now it's somewhere in the middle that I'm resting.
It's amazing. Did you know that was the same kind of thing I went through as well? I went back to corporate and just recently quit in November. Yeah.
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 Gosh.
Crazy. So
So how have we
similar.
managed to mirror one another? I left in the beginning of September.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
We're even doing the same things without even knowing we're doing the same thing. And
Yeah.
for me, when I first went back to corporate, I have really enjoyed it. It wasn't a job I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
What I'm noticing now as we speak, we said when we started this podcast, we'd just make it a conversation, and then you have those aha moments, don't you? As I'm speaking, I'm noticing it. The same thing happened again. It was no different. Towards the end of that job, I just felt the pull that there needed to be a change. And I'm wondering how often in my life I've outlived something because I've been too afraid to listen to that pull, to listen to that next step.
and intuition,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
What about you? What made you come out of the corporate world again?
Um, so same thing. Like I didn't hate my job, but I did both. So when I came back, I went back to my corporate job, and then I started a business in sound therapy, wellness business.
Mm,
I had since rebranded, and it's doing very well. But when I first moved home, I was trying to do both,
yeah.
and it was really hard. So my full time job, 12-hour days and night shifts, all over the place, no real consistency. And then also then trying to do sound healing and sound therapy on the side. It was just too much. And so I pushed, like I fought with it a lot in my head. What am I going to do? Because like, here's a stable paycheck, right? Here's a pension, here's your benefits, here's
Yeah.
all of it. And then here's, you got to really trust yourself. Like, it's you and that's it. You're like, we wear all the hats in your business. Like, it's a lot. So I just, and my soon to be husband, he wanted me to, he supports me 100% in my business. And he's taking care of everything while I build it. So I just decided, I was like, you know what? I know that I'm meant to help people and serve people in this world. And, and me still working this corporate job, not fully enjoying it, I'm keeping it from somebody who could take my job and really love it. So
Yeah.
I just decided to go all in on the business, and yeah, here I am. It's doing really well.
Oh my gosh, Jeanine, I got chills again. So take from the job, I know the person who's now fulfilled that role that I left, and I've known him a long time, and he's perfect for that job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah. But I would also
Yeah,
flip that around by not fully stepping into so mine's mentoring and writing another book and following that route, and yours is sound healing, which you're
yeah.
freaking phenomenal at. I keep saying to you every so often, sending you a message, don't I? I'm coming to your concert when you've got a concert. I'm coming to your concert. Like,
Okay.
by not stepping into that, and not going through the fire, because it is like going through a fire in the beginning, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
But
Yeah,
by
there's,
not going through that fire, who are you preventing from having that healing? It's the same thing.
yeah.
The healing that
Yeah.
you have from your journey, whether it be from watching your journey and being inspired by you, whether it be from coming to one of your sound baths, whether it be from having one of your, I've had two personal sessions with you, whether it be that, you are so intuitive in them sessions as well. And that was in the early days. I'd like to, I can't even think what you would be like now.
Thank you.
What are you holding back from a potential client if you don't follow your heart and do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of inner battles with myself, like a lot of imposter syndrome and
Mm.
walking this path and the whole healing journey. It's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot that comes up. There's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of crying.
Yeah, there is. I don't think
Yeah.
people see that side, and that's what I mean about going right over there in the spiritual community of love and light. Without the entrepreneurial journey, I think is the most spiritual journey I've ever done. Without when you're building your business and it's you, it brings up so much. There's so many tears, so many emotions, so many dark times behind the
So I,
scenes, so many barriers that you come up against yourself.
100%.
And when you've got that, well, I don't know if you relate to this, when you're actually in a job and you've got that paycheck that's coming in every month, it kind of stalls that journey
It
because
does.
you're thinking you're comfortable, and it's not until you become really uncomfortable that and you're made to do some of the things you've been so afraid of that you actually do them.
Well, it's like when I finally decided to quit and go all in on my business, the floodgates just open. They're like, thank God we've been here the whole time. It's just like clients, corporate, one-on-one, sound
That's
baths,
amazing, Jeanine.
traveling. I have a retreat in Mexico. Like, it's just, wow.
When I saw that, I think I messaged you when I saw that, didn't I? And I went, "Oh my God, Jeanine, you're doing it!"
I did the thing.
It's really funny because I started this podcast a year ago, and now it comes out every single week. And I had to bring in discipline I had to bring discipline in for myself with this, with other things, and those really small, consistent actions every day. And
Yep.
because I haven't got a boss, it's so easy to get distracted, isn't it? Any
No.
excuse. And what I'm finding now is I bring it out every week. And what I'm finding now is since I stopped my job, then it started to flow. People coming in, clients started to come in like you.
Yeah.
I got this client that I didn't even go looking for. Where did that come from?
That just
And
happened to me last
or
week.
anything. And then what else happened was I recently went to an event that I'm part of a mentorship group. And I went there and I've been going on a property basis, a property education basis for it must be 18 months now. And now I've moved over to a business basis rather than property. And when I went this time, everyone kept coming up to me and going, "Can I be on your podcast? Can you tell me your opinion on this?" And it was for me, I'm still me. I'm still me. All I've done is quit my job and I've took a chance and it feels really weird. What's your experience?
The same, like the exact same. People love it when you're authentic and when you truly who you are, and it's inspiring.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, are you getting comments? Well, as soon as we came on this podcast, you went, "Joanne, you're looking really young and you're looking incredible." And it's because your aura's coming out, isn't it? Are you finding that people are magnetized towards you?
So I was just saying to my hubby, my last 5 or 6 events, people have like been staying and chatting for like 15, 20, 30 minutes. I've been handing out my card. People like they want to hang out. I've been meeting like my true soul tribe. It's been really beautiful.
Chills again.
Yeah.
So how do you feel inside, Jeanine?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
I feel really expansive and open, and I'm using my voice more. And we've talked about this in Mexico, how my throat chakra has been so closed off. It's a journey. Like there's layers. There's always more layers. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel really good. I feel in alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how
It's
about
so good
you?
to see. I just want to give you a hug.
I
In
know.
real life. Yeah. How am I? If I was to be honest, oh, how am I? I'm You've seen me at my darkest time. You met me when I was really going through some of my darkest periods of my life, albeit we were in the sunshine, right? So it made it a
Yeah.
bit easier. You met me when I couldn't leave the apartment before even 12 in the day. That because we would message each other and oh, I know I'm getting emotional. We would message each other, wouldn't we? And I was already going through all that before I went to Mexico, but you met me in it. And I don't want people to think that it's an easy path because that was necessary. I had to go through all that stuff. I now have more reason to feel afraid than I did then. And I felt so afraid in those times. And what's interesting is I barely feel any fear ever. I generally feel fulfilled most of the time. And only recently did I explain to my son, I was just back from visiting my son, that I can't remember the last time I didn't enjoy a day. I can't remember the last time, even just an ordinary day, that I didn't go to bed at night thinking, "Oh God, today was wonderful." That's where I am. And a sane, logical person might say to me, "Joanne, what are you doing? What are you doing? You've taken a huge risk there. I don't have a home to live in at the moment. I don't know where I'm going to be living. I've taken some money out of my pension. Money's coming in now." But a sane, logical person would probably say to me, "That just doesn't make any sense what you're doing." Yeah, I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. That would be my answer to that. And if anyone wanted to question what is that, that's because I was willing to sit and look at my life and go through the tough times, face things in, look at things in the eye, remove things that no longer served me, even though it was difficult and there was a lot of grief. like you, I got rid of everything. I moved house in November in my Mini Cooper.
Oh my goodness.
So like I can fit all my life in my Mini Cooper. And the
Yeah.
thing that stresses me out these days is I can't find my white t-shirt.
You'll find it when you're meant to.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say about that? How are you? Explain about you and your journey and that so people can understand because it's so hard if you've not been on this journey. What the reason I'm asking that is
Yeah.
this
Okay.
podcast was designed for the person it comes out on a Sunday evening and it's designed for the person who is where I was years ago. They know there's something else in life. They've got a dream. Jeanine, it might just be something simple like they want to stop watching telly at night and they want to run a 10K or they want to go to the gym. It doesn't have to be as drastic as what we've done, but they know inside them that they're not fulfilled. It might just be that they want to change job and they're just too scared to leave the job they've been in for 10 years. What I'd like to get across is it is scary, but what does it give you? What if you explain your journey?
What has it given me? Is that where we're going with this? Like,
Mm,
yeah, like complete freedom to choose and do whatever I want. Um, Spend time with my family. We're actually going to start trying to have a family here very soon. So that excites me that I can stay home and watch my kids grow up and they don't have to have a babysitter. And just all the growth that comes with it. Like you said, learning a business is a very spiritual process. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of doors you hit. There's a lot of people you meet. Um, it's just, yeah, it's just a never ending, beautiful growth cycle.
mm.
Yeah.
And if they're in something and they know it's not fulfilling their soul, and it could be anything. I mean, look, I left my husband, I left the country I was in, I left a house I'd been in for 10 years, I left a business that I'd worked for 15 years. And I know you left a relationship, you left your country, you whittled everything down, but you're going to get your drum back, right? You've
Okay.
done it all. There's probably somebody sat there listening who's maybe in that position and they know in the heart that they need to do that.
You just have to do it.
Yeah,
Like you have to take that step. Nobody's going to do it for you. If not now, when? If not you, who? Do you
yeah,
want to wake up when you're, older and have regrets when you should have done it anyway? Like,
yeah.
yeah, just
And maybe get
trust.
yourself around people who understand. I think that's next
Yeah.
to me. People who will relate to you. Maybe a short step could be, let me find somebody who's on this wavelength.
Yeah, somebody who you can have a support system to get you through it. Definitely. If I didn't have you, like doing it alone would be very, very hard. 100%. That's a good point.
I'm really fortunate because my two kids are kind of on this path as well.
Mhm.
I often wonder, is it them that influenced me or me that influenced them? Like it went
Prob-
in both ways.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
They're both on
Yeah.
this path. And it's so rewarding. It's so hard, but it's so rewarding. But something that my son's girlfriend said to me, so I was just there a week, is when the rubber hits the road and you've not got any choice, you're just going to make it work. You just are.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I always said. I guess a mantra that I had growing up before I even knew what mantras were. It always works out.
It always does.
Everything works out in the end.
Well, I've got a few more years on than you. I'm 55 and I'm a grandmother. You're just thinking about being a mother. And
Mhm.
I can't think of one incident in my life that didn't work out. Even the things that looked terrible at the time ended up being a blessing, every
Uh,
single one of them.
Absolutely. A blessing in disguise.
So what's next for you, Jeanine? I know you said that I know you've got a retreat in Listen, just in case somebody's listening, is it full?
No, it's not. There are
When is
still, I believe, 9 spots left or 8 spots left.
when is it?
November 2nd to 9th.
And you've got a website for it. You've got a link that I can attach
Yes.
to this
Yeah.
podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
And what is the retreat about? What's happening on the retreat?
Yeah. So it's 7 nights, 8 days, and it's yoga, meditation, sound healing, breath work. There's going to be workshops on self love. It's for women. It's a women's retreat called Shine in Mexico.
Mm.
And then we're also going to take you around to different remote parts of the island where we'll take photos, we'll relax. We're going to go make some tacos one night. We're going to go to a beautiful Italian restaurant. Yeah, you just come and we're going to take care of you for the week.
Oh, it sounds amazing, Jeanine. And what kind of resort is it that
It's
you?
called, it's, yeah, it's in Punta Mita, Mexico. It's called the Onda. So it's like a surf kind of resort. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like an incredible week. I mean, you're doing it, girl.
Thank
We used to
you.
sit in our cacao and write out all our dreams.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
And
drinking
you're
it right
doing
now.
it. It's happening. Yay! I'm about to start doing a shift in a cafe, and I'm going to be serving cacao and doing I'm going to be serving cacao and doing meditations and doing little ceremonies for people.
I love
Cacao.
that.
You know, it's so
Yeah.
obvious, isn't it? I was in
Yeah.
that cacao cafe every single morning. Everyone knew where
Hmm.
to find me. So you're doing that, and also do you have a weekly session where you do cacao, where you do sound baths?
I do sound baths usually twice a week now. I've
Yeah.
been doing them about 8 times a month. So I can leave a link for that as well if you
Yeah.
like.
You can give me the details and
Yeah,
I'll pop it in there.
yeah, absolutely. And I have another like a
Description.
weekends, yeah, like women's retreat and workshops coming up here in the province. So yeah, there's lots going on.
And you're very musical minded. I know that. I've
Yeah.
I've never seen you, but I've heard a clip of you playing the piano and everything. And I know that sound means a lot to you. What's
Hmm.
blue sky thinking, right? What would you love to do next, Jeanine?
I'm quite content where I am. Um, like business wise, personal wise, all of it.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah, like I've,
That's
I,
what
I've,
happens.
yeah, like I'm just going with the flow right now. And that's another thing that I've learned too. When I first started this entrepreneurial journey, I was just forcing things. I felt like I needed to make what I made at my old job to feel good. And I was finding by forcing things, nothing was flowing. I was running into all these little annoying snags. So now I just learned to like just let go and flow. And yeah, it's been a lot better that way.
What does let go give you?
It's like if I could action it,
Yeah.
just surrender. Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, it's the same for me. I look back, so when I live in Glastonbury, UK, it's very spiritual, very alternate.
I can't wait to
Love
visit.
yeah, it's so different. It's like walking into a Harry Potter set. Literally, it's that alternate. When you see somebody who comes for the first time, my boyfriend's, my son's girlfriend was, oh my goodness, because it's so hard to explain. It's just so different. I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Jeanine?
You're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about Glastonbury.
flow. Right.
Yeah,
So when I
flow.
first lived in, people will know I don't edit this because they'll get that bit as well. When I lived in Glastonbury the first time, I had exactly the same dreams as I've had this time. And I look back and I was doing all the things that I loved. And then I went off to Mexico, then I went back into the corporate world and then found myself here again. And I'm doing all those things. And I wonder, why didn't I just stay on that track? And why didn't I just carry on that track? But I had a lot to learn and I had a lot to do and a lot of things to move internally. But what is the difference this time? I wonder. It's because I've let go. That's the difference. I've just let go. There's no expectation. There's no forcing, like you said. There's just a isness. And it's really
Yeah.
possible. If someone says to you
All
on
that
the journey,
is.
you just need to let go, you just need to let go of attachment. That's so annoying when you hear it. how do I let go? I really want
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I would have done it by now.
But there comes a point, doesn't there, in your journey where I
Well,
think
the universe,
it's yeah,
sorry, the universe just gets
you-
louder and louder and louder and louder until you have no other choice.
yeah,
Yeah,
to do it.
you have to do it.
And also letting go for me, when I'm forcing it, I've got this idea in my head about how it has to look. This got to look this way, and this has got to happen, that person's got to this. And when I let go, I allow room for the universe to bring things in a so I could give you examples, going back to my little cacao thing. I was here in September. It was somebody's birthday, and very last ever people know me as the cacao woman. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's a ceremonial drink. And people know me as that. And I was at a birthday party. Yeah, you've got your cacao. Yay. I had mine this morning. And last minute, the person whose birthday it was said to me, "Oh, Joanne, do you fancy just doing a little cacao ceremony?" And I'm thinking, gosh, last minute, you've got your cacao, haven't you? So there's all these people. I quickly made it up and I got them to stir their own and then just ran a little meditation and then got people to share who wanted to share. And somebody said, I just got in my meditation that you should have a cacao cafe. You should have a cacao. And it's the first time it ever even entered my mind. The very next day, I go downstairs in the community, and the person in the community had set up a little tea shop with someone, and they were looking for somebody to collaborate. And now I'm going in for a collaboration. That's what letting go does.
Wow.
Allow it to come through. And I'm not going to be in that collaboration for long, but that's something that's come in for me to have a experience, which will lead to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And that's how it works, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like I said, I believe earlier, when as soon as I decided to quit, it's just like boom, 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 and then yeah, it grows from there. Like it's like a
Yeah.
snowball.
And I sometimes wonder that probably could have happened a few years ago, but I wasn't open enough for it.
Yeah, we weren't ready.
Yeah, we weren't ready. That's
Yeah,
true. We weren't
yeah.
ready. Being ready as well. So I have two questions for you that I ask everybody. And the first question is, if you could go back to a previous version of you anywhere in your life, anywhere, and you could give her some words of wisdom from where you're sitting now, where would you go and what would you tell her?
Oh man, there's so many times where I would do this. Probably my teenage self. Um, and I would tell her everything's going to be okay and don't care so much what other people think.
Oh, I like that. Don't care so much
Yeah,
what.
I feel that like, oh, my whole system lit up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think anybody who's looking at following their calling, it usually is going against society, someone close to them, their own family. That's usually at the core of it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And if you only had one message, and bear in mind I've told you the type of viewer that I'm aiming at. If you only had one message that you could give them,
Say that again, sorry.
if you had one message that you could give the type of viewer that I've made this podcast for, and you could impart some wisdom from your own journey, what would you say to them?
Oh my God, this is huge. You should ask me this one first because now my heart's like racing from the other one. Might be the
What, telling
cacao.
your younger self? Yeah.
Yeah. What would be my advice? Oh my God. Just do the thing.
Do the thing. Jeanine, I'm going to be fair with you. I've never answered that question myself. And I said at the beginning of this podcast, we'll make this a conversation, right?
Yeah.
I realized there that I asked that question of every single guest, and I've never answered that question myself. So I'm going to put myself on the spot,
Okay.
and then you can go. I
Okay.
would say, what would I say? I would say call in. This is very spiritual. Call in and ask for, if you haven't already got, somebody who you can confide in and talk to, who could understand you, so that you might not have them in your life right now, and it might not serve you to talk to the people in your life, because that might pull you away from what you
Want
really
to
want
do.
to do. And if you don't have those people at the moment, just say I don't know, say a little prayer. You don't have to be religious. Call in with intent. You want someone to talk to, and then when you have got somebody, or even if you know of somebody right now, be vulnerable and talk to
Yeah.
somebody about it. And it's not about getting their advice. I would say somebody who doesn't give advice, even, who will just listen to you and accept you and hear you. There's that film Eat, Pray, Love, where she goes to her best friend and talks to her about what she wants to do. And it's in the talking it through that you'll be able to hear yourself too. And I also would say, if you haven't got that person, get a journal. You can hide it somewhere where nobody else can see, and write in your journal and
Check it
really
out.
start to listen to yourself. In the talking to the other person, hear yourself. In the journaling, listen to yourself, because that will stand you in more stead than you even realize. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And so I was just going to say, pulling on the thread now of the very last thing you just said, I would say as well, listen to yourself, like listen
Yeah.
to that little voice in your head, like that's your higher self, that's your intuition,
Yeah.
and listen to it and pull on that thread and just see where it leads you.
Yeah. And it could just, I've got chills again, real chills. And it could be just a little thing. It doesn't have to be quitting your job tomorrow. It could be joining a group of people who might have a different kind of mindset to the normal groups you're in. It could be saying no to Friday night out because you don't really want to go.
Boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Jeanine, it's been so lovely speaking with you. I
Me
really,
too.
really, really love it when we connect. So,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I just, as I keep saying to you, I want to come to your concert one day when you've got.
Yes, we will meet again,
We will meet.
100%.
Maybe we'll even collaborate. You know how we said we were going to do cacao and a sound
Sound of
bath?
cacao. Yay, let's do
Thanks.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.